week 1 of NFL Primetime. You want fantastic finishes? You got them. No one circles the wagons like Bledsoe's Bills, except maybe the Jets special teams. Pack and Falcons fly into OT. We'll tell you how this bizarre finish went down. A new era underway in Oakland. While they're at it, his former coach has his hands full at the new sombrero. But the Broncos shut down Marshall. Tony's triple threat returns to play. And Ricky's running wild through Miami. Don't try to run. Don't get up. NFL Primetime.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Well, we're going to open a football season. We're going to have some nail-biters. Yeah, I think so. Hi, everybody. Chris Berman along with Tom. Tom Jackson, where are you over there?
That's the closest I've been to you for a while. That's a good deal.
Well, I got to tell you, you were right, Tom. The defense would be ahead of the offense, just like it was on Thursday.
Right,
well, maybe not.
Right.
But what? Can you recall an opening day like this?
No, not when the offense has played this well, when we saw so much scoring, when we saw so much practical craziness that went on during the course of a first Sunday weekend.
It was unbelievable. And obviously, where should we start? Where should we start? Why don't we go to one of the famed houses of the National Football League with an up-and-comer against the old master, the frozen, not yet frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Not yet frozen. It's almost 120 degrees. It's the warmest opening day ever at Lambeau. Packers down 14-3 to Atlanta, the only team that beat them at home there last year. And it's far to David Martin. That's the Lambeau banana peel. Now he recovers and gets in there. It's 14-10 Atlanta. Michael Vick. Now, do you think he's going to be fun to watch, Tom?
Well, what a showing by Mike Vick today. This is his third start in the NFL, but he's starting this season knowing that he's going to be the quarterback. We're going to put in the arrows here. Biamila and Joe Johnson coming from the upper side of the screen. They look like they have him boxed in. Michael Vick steps through, makes a positive play out of a negative play. That's what he's going to be able to do for the Atlanta Falcons. Here, down the middle, accuracy. Ball gets there in a hurry. Nice balance on his throw. Steps in. Bob Christian, 55 yards down the middle of the football field.
Bob's sister Christian, the Night Ranger. And then look at this.
When he rolls, the defense responds to it, comes up to the line of scrimmage. He hits his tight end, Crumpler, in the back of the end zone.
And he's 10 for 10 at this stage. Michael Vick. What an impressive debut for him in this season. Only his third career start. So Brett Favre says, man, we got to go to work again against these Falcons? Terry Glenn, one of those brought in to beef up the receiving corps. And by the time they catch her, it's 42 yards. 2 catches, 60 yards for Glenn. And then he was a little dizzy on the play, so he just caught 2. Meanwhile, the ensuing Falcon drive, they're up 21-20. Oh, Reggie Kelly, too much steam on the ball.
Yes, thrown a little too hard.
Falcons who get a field goal, 24-20 Atlanta. Next Packer drive, they're into the 13. Number 1 pick, Javon Walker from Florida State. Touchdown, pass, back. Up 27-24. We're just starting the 4th. Vick to Brian Fitterin, and it's a touchdown. Oh, no. Oh, look at Dan Reed. Drive ends in a punt, but the Falcons undaunted next drive. Warwick done. What? Oh, yeah. Warwick, well done. 2 yards, touchdown, 31-27 Atlanta. Minute 40 to go. Amon Green, third down from the 1. He stopped at the 1. Why? Mike Sherman says, no, the ball does not cross the play. But of course, you got to go. You're down by 4. William Henderson, the fullback. Wait a minute. There's no signal? No, there is. It's a touchdown. And the Packers lead at 34-31. Michael Vick says, okay, I've seen that, master. Let me try this. Looking for Tommy's cousin, Willie Jackson.
On my mother's side.
Oh, yeah, 23 yards. Sets up. Jay, see me, really goody. 52 yards. We're tied at 34 overtime. That two-headed Curly Lambeau, Vince Lombardi. They're both heads. Pack win the toss. But they go back and forth a couple times. 8 O'Mara, 5 to go in overtime. Amon Green to the 25. Ryan Longwell for the win. 34-yard attempt. Good. It's good. And the Packers, who were 7-1 last year at Lambeau, losing only to Atlanta by 3, this time go to overtime to beat Atlanta 37-34. Favre almost 300 yards. Michael Vick, in addition, 209 passing, ran for 72.
Great balance by the Green Bay Packers, and I think if you're the Atlanta Falcons, you certainly have to be excited by this effort by Michael Vick.
And Amon Green, who was carted off at one point, had 155 yards rushing. All right, there's one over to add. There he is. Hall of Famer Jim Kelly. Nice streak, bro. And so they honor the old quarterback, and here's the new hero in Buffalo. Drew Bledsoe beginning his career as a Buffalo Bill as they play the New York Football Jets. And watch this on the reverse to Peerless Price. Drew is going to get right into it. Wham! To Jason Ferguson, Tom, and pretty impressive.
Well, Drew is big, strong, and tough, and wants to get into the action there. He lines up Jason Ferguson, but let's remember, he's a defensive lineman. He's going to get a lot more opportunities to hit you than you him.
Well, Drew doesn't care. 3-0 Bill second quarter. Travis Henry running hard all day. Touchdown, 10-0 Buffalo. Bills really controlling the ball for almost the entire first half, except all those Bills special teams. Chad Morton makes the move. At the 45, sheds another, and just outruns everyone else. 98-yard Chad Morton from the USA. Touchdown, and the Jets trail 10-7 only because of Morton's heroics. But he was just warming up. 25 seconds to go in the half-inning Testaverde. Curtis, my favorite, Mott. Look out, boom! Keith Newman lowers the boom, sets up a field goal, but Curtis leaves. The good news, X-rays negative on his left ankle, but he did not return. So, 2017 Jets third quarter, Lamont Jordan is backup. Fumble! Bills ball. Buffalo moves down inside the 5, second and goal. Travis Henry, 3 touchdowns for him, 31 for 149. Buffalo with a packed 73,000 in the house, leading 24-20. Then Bledsoe nailed, stays on his feet to the rookie Josh Reed. He is strong, and he is willful, and he is excited. What a play by Drew. So fourth quarter at 24-23, Bills by 1. Bledsoe hanging in, hanging in. Derek Moles hits 52 yards.
And I think you look at Drew Bledsoe, this is him at his best, boom. When he's hanging in the pocket, waiting for his receivers to come on open, he takes a lot of shots, but again, he's a guy who wants to do anything to get his team to be successful offensively.
5 minutes ago, down by 1, Vinny Testaverde picked up by Pearson Purlieu. But, oh my goodness, Eddie Robinson was a great coach, but Tommy was...
Well, right there, he clearly grabbed Anthony Beck. The official could not call it. Ball stays with the New York Jets.
And so instead of the pick, the Jets keep the ball, and they get the lead. It's Testaverde to Wayne Crevette. They go for 2, make it 31-24 Jets. Now this time it's the Jets special team. Their only miscue of the day, Damian Robinson drills the punter Brian Moorman, roughing the kicker, gives the ball back to the Bills down 7. 4th and 3. 2 minutes to go. Bledsoe pumping. Finds Peerless Price. 15 yards. First down. 34 seconds left. 4th and 9. Last gasp. Bills again. Bledsoe. Touchdown. Derek Moles. Drew throwing for 271 on 26 of 39. 31-0. We go to overtime. The Jets win the toss. They will elect to receive it. Oh, those Bills special teams. Morton. It's already happened once. It can't happen again, can it? Look at the moves. He's at the 40. No way Hollis is going to get him. Sean Bryson tries. He could go all the way to an opening day win. Touchdown for Herman Edwards. Undefeated preseason. 1-0 start this season. What a job by Chad Morton. Only the 5th in NFL history to have 2 touchdown returns on kicks in the same game. Timmy Brown, old Philly Eagles. Travis Williams, Packers. Ron Brown, 85 Rams. Tyrone Hughes, a few years ago, Saints. And he's also only the 2nd. Remember Dave Williams in overtime on Thanksgiving 1980 for Bears against the Lions to win it in overtime. Buffalo played gamely. My God, they controlled the action.
Yeah, and I think Travis Henry gives them a reason to be excited offensively, but I think when you look at their special teams, certainly that has been an Achilles heel for them, going all the way back to the Music City Miracle. In fact, when I commented to Chris, I said, boy, you know, how many different special teams coaches have they had in the last 3 years? He goes, if this continues, we're going to have to add one.
Well,
so I think you look at the Jets, they know how to win, and the Bills absolutely have to get their special team situation straightened out.
You know, Buffalo has a rough early start.
Yes,
they
do.
5 rough early games. They could play this well and not fare too well in autumn. Meanwhile, you know, while they're looking for their first win, including preseason, the Jets are now 5-0. Could they go 23-0? I'm just asking. When we return, Ricky Williams, debut with Miami, very impressive. Mark Brunell and Peyton Manning go down to the NFL Primetime continues the Colts of the Jaguars. Tony Dungy's first game as head coach of Indianapolis. They should have a much better defense in a hurry. Meanwhile, hats off to Peyton Manning. Play action to the missile. Kadre Ismail, 26 yards. Same drive, Manning, Ismail, and Tommy. He's immediately made his presence felt.
Well, they've been searching for that outside receiver now for 3 years. Wasn't Terrence Wilkins, Jerome Payton. It might be Kadre Ismail.
That was a 96-yard drive, and then Marcus Washington. This is why you see his face on the $1 bill. Touchdown as he picks off Mark Brunell, 40 yards. Colts lead 14-7 in Jacksonville. Tom, Edger, and James, they try to use him in the passing situation.
Well, in the passing game, the timing seemed a little bit off between he and Peyton Manning. He had an outstanding day running the football, ran for almost 100 yards. You see, overthrown just a little bit there. Third quarter, finally, right here, James gets the ball. You see that little bit of a shake there, get it up the football field. Boy, do they have to be excited about seeing that.
And meanwhile, it's a fumble. James hits swing pass. He fumbles it more, so he's not at peak yet. But meanwhile, Mark Brunell, 18 yards to Patrick Johnson. And in the third quarter, hello, Jacksonville has the lead. Colts punting third quarter. Damon Gibson. Watch what happens here. What a punt, first of all. Second of all, whoop, whoop, whoop. Clifton Crosby stills and nashes it for the Colts. Setting up, 3rd and 3. Peyton. There's the missile. Good coverage. Touchdown on the pump fake. 2 to Ishmael, 21-17. But he scored 28-17. Not just yet. Fred Taylor. He had 83 yards. Touchdown. 2-point conversion good. 28-25. Brunell. Last play. Hail Mary, what do you do?
Knock it down.
Or get it at least out of the end zone.
Up in the air. Knock it down.
So Brunell and Manning shaking hands. Manning with the win in the new AFC South. The Colts win it by the score of 28-25, 3 TDs for Peyton.
Yeah, and again, I think you look at Edwin James, they were really worried about his knee and him coming back, and you saw the fumble there and the problems they had in the passing game, but he ran the ball well today.
So there's one big-time runner back. Here's another big-time runner in a new place, Ricky Williams. Dreadlocks out of the helmet, but I tell you what, the football's certainly not out of the guy. Takes the handoff, short gain right. Dolphins driving against woeful Detroit. It's a foul ball. You can see it's just foul the third baseline, Tom. But it is a touchdown for Williams. It's 7-0 Miami. Now watch this. The Lions' Chris Cash on a Miami punt. Now this is what happens when you're a team like the Lions. Off your leg. Touchdown Miami. To Trent Gamble, it's 14-0.
I mean, you're right. Chris Cash trying to do his job right there. It's unavoidable. He's not looking back at the football. Pops off his leg. Dolphins get a touchdown.
28-7 at the half. Then more Ricky Williams. He gets to the corner for the touchdown, 35-7. Then Ricky will bounce outside again, and he can do this, Tom. This could be 38 yards.
Well, this is the run here. He doesn't look for the out of bounds. He's looking to get behind those blockers, and it takes about 6 Lions to get him down on the ground.
Is there a better feel-good story than this? Jay Fiedler passing. Robert Edwards, that's right. The guy that was an outstanding rookie for the Patriots got hurt in that Miami Beach game. Almost had his leg amputated. 3 years out of football. He's back in the NFL. Touchdown, 42-14. And you know what? Here's another touchdown.
Yes, it's a great story.
And we know that Coach Juan Schatt gave him and Ricky both game balls. A wonderful story of perseverance. And for the 11th straight opener, Miami has won. 49-21 Detroit, which began the year with 12 straight losses last year. Doesn't look good out of the gates this year. We go inside the numbers. 49 points for Miami. The tied for 5th highest scoring output by an opening day team. These were not a good Falcon team in '73. You remember, Tom, Dick Shiner Your rookie year threw for 3 touchdowns, coupled to the other Kenny Burrow, but the Dolphins are at least on the board.
Inside the Numbers, brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere, NFL fans.
40 yards to become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. He begins his quest tonight. Dallas at Houston and Sunday Night Football at 8:30 Eastern.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
The Vikings and the Bears playing at University of Illinois. The Bears home away from home in Champaign, Illinois, 138 miles away from Soldier Field, being renovated. But Jim Miller to Marty Booker say, you know what? I got a good arm here in this college campus. 29 yards. Bears lead the Vikings 7-3. Randy Moss, well, new coach Mike Tice of the Vikes says, going to get you the ball 40% of the time when we go to the air. Dante Culp, they didn't say how long though, Tom. Here's no gain, although it was a completion. Culpepper, sidelines. Hey, little alligator.
Well, alligator arms, but Randy Moss was actually right here not to go after that ball. The safety's coming over the top, and it might have been his last catch of the season had he stretched out to try to get it. Vikings
lead 13-10 second quarter. It's fumbled by Jim Miller. To Lance Sawyer. Recovers it at the 33. So first play after the turnover to Bada Culpepper to Randy Moss. And whoop! Now he's onto the campus. Right over the fence into the campus. Vikings lead 20-10 at the half. Don't tell me the Bears are coming back again.
Well, this was an offense that got a lot of flack last year for not throwing the football down the field. They evidently have changed that. Marty Booker a couple of times today, 40 yards or more down the football field.
And Miller showed a good arm. That set up an Anthony Thomas 1-yard run. The Bears trail 23-20. And then it's not an accident anymore. Number 30, Mike Brown is always around the ball. Under 3 minutes to go. This interception gives the Bears a chance. Miller, there's that arm, Tommy, to Booker. Ooh. But on 3rd and 2, the undaunted Bears, they give it to Leon Johnson. Up the middle for 11 yards. Next play. Jim Miller. Boy, did that team respond to him last year, didn't they, Tom?
Yes, they
Miller
did.
to Booker, 9 yards. 34 seconds to go. First and goal from the 9. David Terrell, touchdown! Touchdown! The Bears have the lead. And what? And then this is, if we have the Lambeau lead, this is the Champagne Toast. Randy Moss says, you got to be kidding. We had a 10-point lead at half. Terrell is the punter. And the Bears, nothing's changed. Late wins in the division. They're unbelievable. Chicago beats Minnesota 27-23. Booker at 8 for 198, a huge day. Steve Spurrier, first game as NFL head coach, regular season. Into town, the old NFC rival, now NFC West team, Arizona Cardinals. Shane Matthews could not find the space between for the Shane Matthews band. Baron Tanner picks off the deflection, sets up a plumber touchdown, 10-3 Arizona. But the Redskins, who scored more points than anyone in the preseason, here they go. Shane Matthews, Kevin Lockett, 26 yards, tied at 10. What about the linebackers?
Well, let's take a look at each of them. Jesse Armstead here in the middle of the football field. And the thing that you'll notice when you look at all three of them, they are attacking the line of scrimmage. It's an attacking style of defense that Marvin Lewis wants to play with this group. LeVar Arrington, who I think has a chance to be Defensive Player of the Year this year if he plays up to his potential here in coverage. And look at the quickness as he jumps toward the football. And then Jeremiah Trotter, who they got from the Philadelphia Eagles. Jeremiah Trotter in short yardage again. And watch him spot the seam and attack the line of scrimmage. Rule kills the block in front of the ball and kills the play.
And that holds that drive inside the 5 to a field goal. So 17-16 Skins, Tom, third quarter. And here is Shane Matthews. Oh, yeah, this time he revs up the bend. Rod Gardner against defenders. Touchdown, 24-16 Washington. Next possession. Here's the fun and gun. Fake reverse. The Zarin Flemister. It's a short game. Oh, those tricky Skins. Then Matthews to Darius Thompson. Touchdown. 31-16. Next Next Redskin kickoff, it's Danny Werfel. No, they're not trying to pass on the kickoff. Brett Conway, the kicker, had a hamstring cramp. Werfel kicked off, and he also makes the tackle.
Yeah, Werfel's going to come here and right on the sideline, make the play. Quarterback who likes to mix it up.
And how can he be upset? The quarterback kicked and made the tackle. I don't know.
They didn't score.
Right, no, they didn't throw a pass with the quarterback on the field. With the score still 8, Jake Plummer picked off by Champ Bailey. And Steve Spurrier and the Skins win in his opening day. The Redskins win it 31-23 in a day in which Shane Matthews, here it is, 300-yard day passing, 327 to be exact. Sal Palantonio with the coach.
Game we're behind at half, but we played pretty well most of the game. Disappointing we couldn't make any first downs. We had an 8-point lead to win the game, so we got 2 holding penalties. But our guys played pretty well, proud of them. You were down at halftime. What adjustments did you make in the locker room? I think we only punted once in the first half. Not much we could say except, let's get the ball back quicker and let's try to capitalize. We finally got some balls in the air. You throw it up to Rod Gardner, you always got a chance. And we just weren't getting them out. A few times we called some deep balls. So finally Shane got them up, and I think we hit everything we threw deep. See you on Monday night. All right, thanks, Sal. Back to you, Boomer.
All right, Sal, thank you. Well, I mean, look, they couldn't quite get rid of the Cardinals, but this is what we're doing. They're going to win 40-3, going to lose 40-3. Excitement in Washington.
Steve Spurrier has made it fun. He called it fun and gun. He's made it fun to play offensive football. And when they go up against the Eagles on Monday night, Troy Vincent needs to be back in that lineup. It looks like they're going to be pretty potent offense this year, and he's going to throw the ball downfield.
Well, they're going to do it no matter what the score is. They're going to have quarterback kick off. David Carr, his debut, the Houston Texans debut. At home against Cross State, now rival Dallas, at the bottom of the hour. Sunday Night Football. Back at NFL primetime, the San Diego Chargers and the Cincinnati Bengals, 5 straight years. New opening quarterback for Cincinnati, it's Gus Frerotte. Drew Brees, new opening quarterback for the Chargers. Do you remember? Yes, we do. It was 21 seasons ago, 59 below, the AFC Championship game, Chargers and Bengals. Now it's 90 degrees, it's hot. And in the first quarter with the Chargers leading 3-0 for new coach Marty Schottenheimer. Oh, that Gus Frerotte. Picked off by Alex Molden. Tommy, that sets up LaDainian Tomlinson's second year.
And you love the way he runs. Here he's strictly north-south, and he can do that, get in between the tackles. But he also has the ability to see the lane, hear the cutback lane, get to the outside, outrun people, get what he can, and then get out of bounds.
And so with the running of Tomlinson and already with a 13-0 lead, Drew Brees, his first start, 15-yard run. Tough young man from Purdue, and 2 plays later, why don't I let you get this yard, big guy? And Tomlinson does it. It's 20-0 San Diego against the Bengal team that many thought would be a surprise.
You!
Including the Schwab. I'll never do it again. Brees, I'm so sorry I did it. Brees, 9 yards to Curtis Conway. It's 27-3. Everything changes in football, but you can always count on one thing. Oh, the Bengals. And the Chargers win 34-6. Marty Schottenheimer's debut. And could there be a better present? Get well for John Butler, the general manager of San Diego, as he recovers from cancer. Our best wishes, and the team did the best for him. What a game between Kansas City and Cleveland. Tim Couch sitting. He watches Trent Green to Tony Gonzalez, who needs training camp, Tom. Touchdown, 7-3, the Chiefs, but we're just getting started.
Yeah, Tony Gonzalez right there. The linebacker, Darren Hambrick, right there in the arrow. First lesson you learn as a linebacker, something in front of you, something behind you. Trying to draw him up with the shallow cross right there. Gonzalez gets behind him. By the time he gets back to the play, Gonzalez already in the end zone.
So it's 14-13 Chiefs, second quarter, Kevin Johnson. Wait a minute. He's going to throw it on the reverse to Quincy Morgan. That's a good-looking pass, a better-looking result. 20-14 Cleveland on the 33-yard play. During the high holy days, how about Priest Holmes with 4 touchdowns? I mean, it's unbelievable. Here's the second of the game for the guy that, well, won the rushing title last year. No one knows it. Cleveland leads 30-24, but here come the Chiefs. Then Kelly Holcomb. It's a fumble. Wayne Clemens recovers to the chagrin of Butch Davis. Holcomb throwing well for 300 yards, but now the fumble puts the Chiefs down 6 in business. Brees Holmes in big Holcomb had, though. Quincy Morgan wide open. Touchdown. They do not get the 2. It's 36-31 Browns. And then 3 minutes to go. Look at Priest Holmes.
Yeah, Priest Holmes has that knack of seeing the hole, getting it cut, changing that east-west to north-south almost instantly, and he's a very, very tough runner for his size.
37-36. They do not get the 2. Under 3 minutes to go. Holcomb to Kevin Johnson. Down to the 31. Sets up. 33 seconds to go. A 41-yard attempt for Phil Dawson. The kick is up. Good. It's good. And the Browns look like they're going to win it. 39-37. 21 seconds to go. Trent Green trying to make something happen. But he's going to run with it. He's going to slide to the 47. Tick, 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 tick. We stop with 4 seconds left. One shot. A miracle for Dick Vermeil, who has seen a few in his day. Last chance. Green under pressure. What? And he throws it back to John Tate, his lineman. It's a 25. Look at him rumbling, bubbling. Convoy, don't tell me he's going to score. He's not. It's over. Butch Davis has won. But wait a minute. Wayne Rudd, unsportsmanlike penalty, threw his helmet. Yes, it may have been in celebration, but Tom, it's the rule.
Well, you can't even remove your helmet on the football field while the ball is still in play. So that's the first mistake, the throwing of the helmet as you're celebrating. The second mistake.
And so it cannot end on a defensive penalty. The Chiefs get a chance for Morton Anderson, and of course he delivers an unbelievable finish in Cleveland. Remember the finish they had in their last year? This amazing. The Chiefs with new life snatched from Lake Erie. They win 40-39. Afterwards, Rudd said, I wasn't annoyed. I was just happy.
That's how excited I am when the game is over. I thought everybody was walking to me, and on the fifth, we shake hands. I looked back, and everybody's looking at me, so I knew that he had called the penalty. It's not that hard. I understand the rules, but I didn't think the rule would apply then. That I thought I had sacked him, and I thought he was in the grass. And like I said, I didn't see the police anyway, so it was just crazy play.
That's unbelievable. What a way to win. Dum, 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 dum. Capers and the Texans playing Dallas at 8:30. 2 years ago, they won the Super Bowl. This year, rebuilding big-time Baltimore. And then speaking about rebuilding, John Fox. And then there's a rat. So we have a fox and a rat in Carolina. What else did you expect for a team that John Fox, the new coach, a team that lost 15 in a row to end the year? Chris Bredman from Louisville. Touchdown for Baltimore to Ron Johnson. And the Ravens lead at 7-0 in the first. Under a minute to go. Rodney Peete. Tom, you played against him, didn't you?
Yeah, I remember my first year against Rodney.
Rodney in his 14th year. Hey, how about John Fox starting? Let's give him the nod. Wesley Walsh a touchdown. We're tied at 7. Jamal Lewis runs hard. 15 yards. He had 64-yard game. Matt Smokey Stover, 47 yards. No good. The Panthers still lead 10-7. Still that score, minute and a half to go. 3rd and 4 Ravens. Redmond hit by Julian Peppers. Intercepted by the #1 pick a year ago. Dan Morgan, 22 yards.
Drafted #1 by the Panthers because of that quickness off the football, that size to get up and cause those big impact plays for this defense.
So how about this? You can set your watch to it. Opening game every year, Carolina wins. Okay, so they don't win for the rest of the year. But John Fox knows one thing. He's 1-0. What a nice way to start.
Well, yeah, and I think some of those players, certainly that he wanted to see, young players who he wanted to see play well, came out and played well, especially Julius Peppers.
Congratulations to a guy that waited his turn to be a head coach. Eagles, Titans, and here's, we talk Edgerrin James, we talk Ricky Williams, as you look at Donovan McNabb, but Eddie George's return so pivotal to Tennessee. This they did not want to see. Javon Curse, second play of the game. Broke a bone in his left foot. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Surgery Monday. What a loss. But on the opening drive, they shake off the loss, and Tennessee is going to go on the length of the field drive. Eddie George, 11 yards. Steve McNair to George. Look at this move, Tom. Whoop! Pretty nice. 7-0 Tennessee. The Eagles come right back. A recover and fumble punt. Second and goal from the 18. McNabb to James Thrash. Touchdown. We're tied at 7. And then, Andy has done this on opening day before.
Well, you're going to watch David Akers here from Louisville, and he's going to kick off, and then watch the courage he shows. He's going to actually screen the other team in an effort to let that ball go 10 yards so that the Eagles have a chance to recover it.
And so they do get it. Thomas works in the NFC, the shovel pass.
Yeah, only in the NFC, the shovel pass right there to do, and he gets it up and into the end zone. We've seen it fail in the AFC a number of times.
The wagon's not circled. 14-7 Philly. Then Chad Lewis out of the witness protection program into the end zone. 21-10 Philly. They lead 24-10 at the half. Good team's going to put that away. But not with interceptions like this thrown by McNabb. Andre Dyson with the pick. There were 2 today on Donovan. Fourth quarter. Third and goal, McNair. Justin McCarron, touchdown. 2-point conversion, no good. It's 24-19. 4 minutes to go. McNair. Derek Mason. 39 yards to the 30. 2nd and 7. McNair. Whoop! To Frank Wycheck. McNair so strong in the pocket. 20 yards. Just over 3 to go. 1st and goal. Speaking of strong, Eddie George. You going to cut him off? I don't think so. Touchdown. 2-point conversion. Good. 27-24. Under 2 to go. McNabb. Sacked by Carlos Hall. In because Kurtz is hurt. He had 3 sacks on the day. And Tennessee down 14 at the half. Wins by the count of 27-24 in a game between 2 teams that are very hopeful of getting not only playoffs, but into the Super Bowl. So 2 ways to look at it. Welcome back, Eddie George, running authority.
Yes.
I know the yard total wasn't impressive.
Doesn't matter.
But you saw the way he ran.
Well, you saw him run hard. You saw him run with authority. I think that's the thing that the Titans really wanted to see. I think that you saw Steve McNair be confident with the football when he was throwing it downfield. He still maintains that strength and ability to be mobile outside the pocket. And I think that the Eagles are so disappointed with the fact that they had the huge lead, as Boom said, and then allowed it to get away. And I think the real problem for them defensively today, a different football team. Jeremiah Trotter not in the middle of that team. Troy Vincent not playing. I think they have to shore up a few things defensively before they can go out. And you don't want to depend totally on Donovan McNabb to have to win football games for you offensively.
Well, they only had, what, 260 in offense.
That's right. Not a lot. Not a lot of yards.
It's a very disappointing loss, I think, for Philadelphia because, well, I know it is, but because they go again on the road next week at Washington. 14-point lead on the road. You got it. Now we go to Oakland for the beginning of, there he is, the new head coach, Bill Callahan, as they host their one-time division rival, now NFC West team, Seattle Seahawks. Business as usual. Oakland has had their way with Seattle in this building. 8 yards, Rich Gannon to Timmy Brown. Game tied 7 in the second quarter. Charlie Garner, 20-yard run, 14-7. There it is. Now they open up to 31-7. What are these road jerseys? They look like Saskatchewan, don't they? It's a fumble. And wait a minute. This is Sean Springs into the infield for those red-hot Oakland A's. And then Gannon is going to track him down. He does. 31-17. Opening day win for Bill Callahan as the Raiders continue their mastery over the Seahawks. Again, Seattle offense, really not a lot going.
Well, I think if you're Mike Holmgren, Hasselbeck may not be the answer for you. You know, that Mike's going to be frustrated when he doesn't play as well as he thinks offensively.
Well, hoping week 3-ish for Trent Dilfer, but they're going to be careful, obviously. Saints-Bucs is a new division rivalry in the NFC South. John Gruden, his first game as Tampa Bay coach. Aaron Brooks, big contract extension, had a nice day. 24 42 for 260. Ooh, that's Boo Williams. I wasn't the fans of the new sombrero. Boo Williams touchdown, 13-3. Saints, team that got slaughtered by Tampa Bay on this field last December. Keenan McCardell, touchdown for Brad Johnson. It's 13-10 in the third. Saints ball. Brooks to Dante Stallworth. 41 yards. Touchdown. 20-10 Nolan. Under 3 to go. It's still 20-10. And one of the new receivers for Tampa Bay is Joe Jurevicius. Makes the catch. Touchdown. It's 20-17. Now under 40 seconds to go. No timeouts for the Bucs. Ball tipped for Cardell. Inbound. Fourth down. Get on the field, says Brad Johnson. Get on. Martin Gramatica. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hurry up. We got to tie it. Tick. Tick, tick. Tick, tick. Tick, tick. Tupa to hold. Gramatica. Pretty calm in this situation, to be honest with you, Tom. 4, 3, kick. Wow. Tie. The third overtime game on opening Sunday. Yeah. Jim Haslett, you gotta be kidding me. But wait, Jim, there's more. But it's for your team. Tupa punting from the end zone. 3 minutes left in OT. And it's Fred McAfee. Tupa. Oh, no, it's intercepted by James Allen. Well, they would have lost on a safety anyway, Tom. Tupa tried it. If it's incomplete, it's his only hope. Touchdown. And John Groot loses his opener. The Saints blow the lead, but come back to win it. And a surprise at week 1 at the new sombrero. And certainly not one that many predicted.
No, and I think if you're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and you see 28 of 52 for Brad Johnson, that's too many throws. That's not enough of controlling the football the way I know that Coach John Gruden wants to. So, you know, the Saints will feel like they kind of stole one in Tampa Bay. The Bucs will be certainly disappointed that they lost an opener of that magnitude when you fought that hard to get a win.
And one thing to say is that Deuce McAllister ran for 109 yards.
Ran hard.
And Ricky Williams, so a good start for him for the Saints. And now,
what we thought would be the marquee game of the day, although we had 3 overtimes and everything else, the Rams at Denver. And so here we go. Kurt Warner, Rams, winless in the preseason. Not sure what it means. Tom Ruin is ruined in the end zone. Grant Wistrom, my Hawaii buddy from Maui, 15-yard penalty, continues their possession. Later in a drive, Brian Greasy. So they've taken that roughing in the end zone, and they go all the way down, Tom, against the much-improved St. Louis defense at 7-0 B-men.
Yeah, and the Bronco defense put a lot of pressure on Kurt Warner. There you see the roll by Warner. Al Wilson makes the play. They've got a pretty good set of linebackers. Then Marshall Falk here trying to get to the outside. Chester McLaughlin and Ian Gold stack him up. Falk had 5 carries, 1 yard rushing when the Broncos were in control in the first half.
He had 19 yards rushing on the day, although he caught balls for 91 yards. Greasy's pass tipped. Aeneas Williams, he's done it year after year after year. He's such a great player. Down to the Denver 26. Marshall. Didn't run for many, but this is a touchdown. And the Denver lead is now just 3-16-13. 4th and 2. Rams at the Broncos 10. They're going for it. Warner, incomplete. Could have taken a field goal to tie it. The Rams trying to push the envelope, and Denver's defense held. Jeff Wilson, barefoot. What, we see a 65-yarder in there?
Yeah, there's a little altitude in that stadium.
Oh, there's why. Ball never really got down in time. Ricky Prohl couldn't get the good hold, and we remain at 16-13. Steve Berline putting on his helmet. Brian Greasy. I guess when Brian picking up the other guy. Maybe not. Greasy to the 2nd-round pick, Clinton Portis from Miami. Thrilled that his team flat Florida. Thrilled that he got a first down. Shannon Sharp back in Denver. 13 yards. Down to the 34. Greasy. Teron Smith. What is it, Tom? We got to have Berline put on his helmet, then he looks like Bob.
I think it was a good motivating tool.
Well, Brian, they're hopeful that he's right back on track, and this man is easy. Ed McCaffrey, and that seals it. Nice try, 5 of 6, Greasy on it. And Berline and he celebrate, and what a big win for Denver over St. Louis, 23-16. In a day in which, again, I don't know what 0-4 means in the preseason. I'm not trying to say it translates into anything now, but the Rams have yet to win a game since the NFC Championship.
Yeah, but I don't think there'll be any panic in the Rams. I think that they understand what they need to do offensively, defensively. I think the Broncos have to be very pleased with what happened for their football team in terms of getting Eddie McCaffrey back on track. Clinton Portis, the young rookie, Shannon Sharp providing the leadership, and like I said, Brian Greasy, once he had that little motivator from Coach Shanahan, came back and played differently.
Tough to beat Denver at home, as St. Louis found out.
When we return, game balls, lots of candidates, heartwarming stories, eye-openers, and excitement.
For my game ball, you score 4 touchdowns, you get my game ball, 122 yards rushing. Priest Holmes ties a team record. And
well, we would have given it to Chad Morton, but you know, with what Robert Edwards has been through, I think even Chad would take his helmet off and say, you know what? You battled back for 3 years with iffy life situations, not football situations, and you get the game ball. Tommy, we have 2 games to go, all right? 51.1 points a game averaged in week 1 this year. And remember, the opening game, there were only
Thursday
29
night.
points scored. 3 overtimes. We've only had it 1 other time in the history of opening day football. What a day to cap.
Well, let's take a look back at the day. What a crazy day of football it was, and one of those extraordinary days that we won't forget soon. TJ's extra point here. Michael Vick, you know, in a losing effort in Lambeau Field, nothing to be ashamed of. Looked like he grew up very quickly, quick study. Special teams for the Jets, keeping them in it early and winning it for them late. Donovan McNabb played 2 separate halves of football. Great first half, not so great second half of football. And then there was Drew Brees, who really accounted for himself so well against the Cincinnati Bengals. Outstanding day for him. Steve Spurrier's offense, at least late, looked just the way you'd expect it to look. And then that kick for the Kansas City Chiefs with no time left on the clock. The game was over. 4 seconds left on the last play. We ran another play. The decision changed.
You know what, we've done this show, now this is beginning our 16th season of NFL Primetime. I know we can look back and, boy, there may have been weeks like this, but opening week?
No.
I can't wait for the rest of the season.
No, it's great.
Tom, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Boom.
Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching NFL Primetime. Coming up on NFL Primetime, will the greatest show be 0-2? Ricky's got the green light in Indy, while Gruden sends a message loud and clear. Did the Bears pull out another win? Would Brady's bunch continue to amaze? The Cards attempt to ruffle the Seahawks feathers, while the Cowboys may have found their D in Dallas. Dallas tries to pack a punch for Green Bay, as Carr attempts to breeze past the Chargers. The Bledsoe's Bills show Moss who's boss. Would the Niners be a treat in San Francisco? NFL Primetime. Next.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 2 of NFL Primetime. Chris Berman, Tom Jackson. Boy, after week 1, Tom, hard to imagine anything could match up to that.
Yeah, but we got some surprises this week.
Oh, absolutely.
We got some surprises.
But if you think of football matching up to week 1, really nothing could match up to the man that we lost this week. Arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, a man that changed the position forever, even though he played almost a half a century ago, and that's number 19, Johnny Unitas. And, Tommy, you got your black high tops on?
Yeah.
I got mine on. Got them on. There's no rule against that. We can do that. And we're doing that right here as we go to Baltimore, where Johnny U was just revered, as well he should be. And so the Ravens were at home today against the Bucs, and Unitas we stand, the band former number 19 on the field. Their hearts out to the Unitas family. Lenny Moore, among the many Hall of Famers that played with Johnny U. Impression of his jersey on the field. The cleats that he wore so beautifully in Baltimore, and there they were as Johnny Unitas in the 50s, and the first 3,000-yard man, and the 40,000 yards overall. Chris Redmond, knowing that there would be perhaps a fight, wearing the black cleats. He's a Louisville guy like Unitas. Meanwhile, with the score 3-0 Tampa Bay special teams, they can't return a kick for a touchdown, but Carl the Truth Williams can make moves like this. And David Zastudo, the punter, and treat him like Zastudo, like a wet noodle, and it's 10-0 Tampa Bay.
Yeah, arrow here on Rondé Barber. He takes on 6'4", 255-pound John Jones. You saw him put him on his back.
Jamal Lewis, it's a fumble. Ribbon, whoop, and it's off the pylon. So that's a safety. And so Tampa Bay gets 2 points. Brian Billick. Now, this is not the offense that he envisioned all year, and it might be seen it all year. Then Derek Brooks, one of the great linebackers in the game, could go all the way. 96 yards for number 55, Derek Brooks. The defense scores a touchdown. John Gruden gets the shower from Keyshawn as his first win as Bucs coach. And the Bucs shut out the Ravens 25-0, so they get special teams touchdown. They get a safety. They get a defensive touchdown and 3 field goals. So the offense not scoring, but when you don't give up any, that's okay.
And Brad Johnson, a good job of protecting the football and doing a good job of spreading the ball around to his receivers offensively.
Meanwhile, the team with the name that Johnny U so starred for from 56 to the early 70s, at a moment of silence on the field, and Peyton Manning quite close to Johnny Unitas among those observing it. Meanwhile, Miami in town, they've had their way against the Colts lately. Jay Fiedler, a bootleg and a 1-yard touchdown. He would hit Conrad, so they're up 14-3 in the second. And then look at Ricky Williams. The power, the agility, and the speed, Tom.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that surprised the Colts is you saw him going down the sideline. He's literally outrunning their defensive back. They get him by the shoestrings right there to save a touchdown.
And then 3 plays later, the play action to Williams. He's right there, and Buffalo. He's in the end zone, 21-3 Miami. My goodness, they're all of a sudden a touchdown machine, Tom.
And this is what Ricky Williams makes you do. The Colts bring 9 people to the box thinking about the run. You get the great play action fake back to the weak side after the motion. Ricky Williams with the catch, and then just powering his way right into the end zone.
So late in the first half, a couple of deflected balls for interceptions off of Peyton Manning, and then into the end zone, triple coverage, and Patrick Surtain makes certain that he comes down with this. 8 interceptions last 3 games for Manning against the Miami Dolphins. Surtain did sprain his knee on the play and did not return, but it's 21-3. Could Manning lead a, Unitas-esque comeback? Marvin Harrison couldn't stay in to go in the end zone, but he hauls this in down to the 2, so you figure they're in business. First down, Edger and James. Second down, Edger and James. Third down, Edger and James. Not in. What do you do on 4th down, Tony? Imagination, where? We're going to try 4 times with Edger and James. Not in. What a goal line stand by Dave Wanstadt's Miami Dolphins. Keeping the score at 21-3. 9.5 to go. Now the Colts score. Manning to Marvin Harrison. Then they add a field goal. It's 21-13. Down by 8. Could Manning evoke the memories of that number 19 who wears the same horseshoe helmet? Well, they run draw plays with no timeouts to Edger it. Another one, they need to pick up yards, but this is one I think they would like back. A short little underneath pattern. It's to Harrison. It's complete. But tick, 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 tick. Troy Walters, get out. Get out. He does. Stopping the clock with 19 seconds to go. Manning to Kadri Ismail. But there's nowhere to run. He can't get out. He can't stop the clock. Tick, 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 tick. They finally do with 2 seconds to go. So maybe a couple different plays. They might have had 2 cracks at a time. But they do have 1. And it's knocked away by Brock Marion. A fine play defending the missile, Kadri Ismail. And Miami holds on to defeat the Colts in a rally late, 21-13. Ricky Williams had 132 yards for Miami. Edger and James ran for 138 for the Colts. But really, some of the talk this week centered on Peyton Manning, who ordered sets of high-top cleats, black high tops. The NFL said you have to petition the league way ahead of time. You can't wear them. He was disappointed.
I'm disappointed. I would like to have done it. Johnny was always super nice to me the times I was around him. He was one of my father's childhood heroes, and so I realized the importance he had on the game of football in a lot of people's lives. So it was my way to honor him and to pay a tribute to him. At the same time, I never wanted it to be a distraction to my team and to my teammates. And with the league ruling that I wouldn't be allowed to do it, it was becoming a distraction.
Well, we understand that, but the league missed the boat a little bit here, and I don't want to belabor the point, but you know what I would have liked? I would have liked an 8- or 9-year-old kid watching Peyton Manning play football, asking his father, Dad, why is Peyton Manning wearing those black shoes that look very high that nobody wears? And his dad would have put his arm around his son and said, or daughter, and say, let me tell you a little bit about Johnny Unitas. We missed a chance a little bit, perhaps, to educate those younger who really knew not
of the great Johnny U. I think that's where the league got a little too literal with their rules. But let's put that aside. Manning tried as he will, but the Miami Dolphins, Tommy, they've played 2 games. They've scored 10 touchdowns. Orlando Murray missed the field goal. I mean, it's like backwards for Miami. Man, they look like a different squad.
Well, think about the Dallas Cowboys of the early 90s. You've got Dave Wannstedt. You've got the coaching staff right there. Norv Turner, offensive coordinator. This resembles that team, and that's tonight's TJ's extra point. You take a look at this football team. The similarities are uncanny. As you watch them, again, mention Norv Turner there, offensive coordinator now. Dave Wannstedt, the head coach with Miami. The screen plays that we so got used to with the Dallas Cowboys, you see some of those same things with the Miami Dolphins. The double screen. When Norv Turner was coaching that football team, Emmitt Smith, a big part of that game. Fiedler to McMichael, the tight end down the middle of the field. Remember Aikman to Novacek. Every time he needed to move the chains, Novacek was the guy that you wanted to do it. Here, Fiedler to Chris Chambers down the seam. Aikman. Michael Irvin across the middle. Those things haven't changed. Ricky Williams, Emmitt Smith, big, strong, solid offensive line in front of a power running back. I think when you look at what they have tried to create, they've recreated the Dallas Cowboys offensively, and that's not a bad thing when you think about the early 90s.
So we already knew that Miami could play some defense, and now if they're going to score touchdowns,
that's right.
And look at the confidence Fiedler's playing with.
Yes. Well, he's going to do that if Ricky Williams is running the ball the way he's running to start this season, the first 2 games. Because I talked to him, they said it opens up the middle of the football field for him.
We can see that on this stage. So the Miami Dolphins with a very impressive 2-0 start. When we return.
Tom, there were 3 monitors as we watched the games. The Bengals, the Ravens, and the Lions. We could watch them all at the same time. It was ridiculous. Tim Couch, elbow not ready, or they said his elbow isn't ready. Kelly Holcomb, he looks continue to be ready. Touchdown for Cleveland. Holcomb to Andre Davis, 10-0 over Cincinnati. Gus Frerotte, oh my God. Tom, not only did Frerotte try to throw it lefty, the only thing he did here was make a tackle left. I mean, these are the Bengals. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I can't candy coat it. This was pathetic.
Well, certainly he had motivation to catch Kennard Lang, but you can see right here you have to make a good decision with the football. Take that sack. You're down where you're going to score. You got a possibility of getting a field goal. You ruin that, and that's what Gus Frerotte is feeling right there on the sideline.
So then Kelly Holcomb from the 8 to Kevin Johnson. Touchdown, 17-0 Cleveland in their home opener at the half. Then Frerotte spikes the ball to stop the clock, but watch this. The flag on the play. Why? Because TJ, you say Hushmanzada, I say Hushmanzada. He took off his helmet. So you know that's
it's unbelievable after last week.
So that killed the drive. 2 plays later, Frerotte in trouble. Mark Ward's going to take him down for a sack. But then watch this. He's all excited. Goes to the Cleveland sideline. Oh, I'm psyched. And my helmet is off. Which Davis is smart. You got to be kidding me. Does nobody in the state of Ohio get the rule, Tom? I don't get it.
I get it.
The Butch says, put it up, just put it on. And I think you get the feel of how this game went. Cleveland won it by the count of 20-7. Then maybe Holcomb will be, Couch will be heard another week.
Rule 12, Section 3, Article 1, letter E. Keep it on.
Well, it wasn't a home opener for Cleveland. They wish it was, because remember last week Kansas City got the 40 points on the play afterwards. It's a home opener for the Chiefs, and of course they were taking dead aim at Mark Brunell and the Jacksonville Jaguars. But Brunell was taking aim at Jimmy Smith. You know what? When Brunell and Smith and Fred Taylor are there, this team can play. Right. They missed the PAT, but that touchdown ties it at 6. Fourth quarter, we're tied at 9. Brunell to Patrick Johnson. And he could go all the way. 79 yards. The Jags lead at Kansas City. Always a tough place to win. 16-9. And Tommy, one-on-one coverage.
Eric Warfield is on the coverage outside. The safety, Jason Belzer, is coming over. You can see how late Jason Belzer is getting over. Patrick Johnson is off to the races down the sideline. That's just a go route for a touchdown.
And then we mentioned Fred Taylor. Look at the cut, boy, when he's healthy. Look at it, gone. He's just gone. It's 63 yards. Fred Taylor gives the Jags a 2-touchdown lead, 23-9. Taylor ran for 114. Next possession, Trent Green trying to make something happen. And at first they said Tony Gonzalez had a bounce. Well, what an acrobatic catch, Tom. And they challenged, reviewed, and it was a
Yeah, it was great footwork by Tony Gonzalez at the back of the end zone.
But You know, sometimes this is a show that we can show you these things. 3rd and 2, under 3 to go, and Taylor gets the tough yards as well. That 4-yard run gave him a first down, and Jacksonville, when those guys are there, they can play. They win it 23-16. Brunell threw for 320 yards. And Jacksonville had 450 yards of offense in the game. Meanwhile, did the Carolina Panthers go 2-0 under John Fox and Rodney Peete at quarterback? Rodney Peete, 36-year-old, 14-year veteran, facing Mike McMahon, the Lions. Now, this is Detroit, Carolina. A reminder that it was Detroit against the Whalers/Hurricanes. It was Detroit, Carolina in hockey. Suffice it to say, it was more exciting than this. Unless you were a Panther fan. Rodney Peete to Muhsin Muhammad, 22 yards, 10-0 Carolina. 10-0 Carolina. 1-15 last year.
Yeah, and that's the way Julius Peppers wants it. He's the end up top under the arrow, and look at the power as he comes right through 2 blockers, the tackle and the running back, and gets a piece of Mike McMahon. And then Julius Peppers again. We got him under the arrow. He's going to come all the way around the tackle, circle around wide, but again, he keeps coming, and he's going to get another sack. And then McMahon scrambling, and watch the hit. Watch the hit by Julius Peppers right there from the backside. That's all about hustling, continuing to the football. Good things are going to happen.
McMahon, not good things for him. He was down 6 sacks in the day, 3 by the rookie, Julius Peppers. Meanwhile, Rodney Peete to Lamar Smith, the ex-Dolphin, down to the 19-yard line. That's a 58-yard pickup. And then Smith from the 3, touchdown, 17-7, Carolina. Mike McMahon, pass deflected. Picked off by Mike after dinner Minter. When he's on the pillow, you know it's over. He's gone. 24-7. The Carolina Panthers are, look at this, they roll 31-7. 310 yards, the first 300-yard passing day in 10 years for Rodney Peete. The Panthers last summer and this summer are the boys of summer. Saw a dead head sticker on a Cadillac. They're 3-0. However, when they play football more often in the fall and winter, that's when they've had some trouble. At 8:30 Eastern.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
The Chicago Bears last week picked up where they left off. Another last-minute win. Could they beat Mike Vick? Starting at home at the Georgia Dome, sold up. Brian Urlacher had his sights set on Vick. It was an excellent battle. Look at Vick, pull it back, then throw it to Warwick. A nice throw. 10-yard touchdown. And Atlanta at home leads it 7-0. Second quarter. The A-train, Anthony Thomas up the middle. Top. To my imagination, or was there a lot of room there?
Well, you almost thought there were 10 players. You look in the middle of the field. The only guy there is one of the referees. And with nobody in the middle, Bears run it right where they're supposed to. A-train. Only thing that's going to stop it is the official, boom.
I don't think that was the setup for Wade Phillips, defensive coordinator of the Falcons. Jim Miller, David Terrell. Caught a ball last week, but it was the winning touchdown. Caught a ball this week, was another touchdown. And the Bears go up 14-10. Earlier on Countdown, remember this morning, Mike Vick explained how he'll deal with Brian Urlacher.
This is going to look like. You're going to go heads up, and I'm going to end up on top of him, and I might just even stand on top of him like that. I might just sit on him.
I was talking to his ex-teammate, now with us a little bit, Jamal Anderson. So with the score 14-13, Urlacher does the sitting, and he jumps over a blocker to hurry a throw by Vick. Then look at the speed of Urlacher. How's this, Tom? And you know, Vick is not exactly slow, okay? 4 minutes to go. Vick. Now watch this play by Vick. Evades the same guy twice and whoop! Tipped into the hands of your cousin Willie Jackson. But first they call catch, then they go to the peep show, and they say the ball hit the turf to the chagrin of Dan Reeves, negating a 42-yard pickup. 3rd and 20. Obviously a passing play. Tom, here's Urlacher.
And what you love about him right here, he misses Vick the first time. He goes back and gets him the second time. He is as quick a linebacker as you'll see in this league.
And then last chance, 2 minutes ago, Vick, quarterback draw. He's not too slow himself. 19 yards. Moments later for the win. Jay Lucy. the Bears, I mean, they do it again. They win another one-pointer or a last second or whatever. And the Bears beat the Falcons 14-13. Chicago had 4 sacks.
Yeah, and that game plan of the Bears, we're going to run the ball, we're going to throw it a minimal amount of times. You just love the game plan. We're going to play great defense. It's what wins in this league.
Urlacher almost 30 tackles, Tommy, in 2 games. Packers at the Saints. Brett Favre, this is the one dome that they win in. Won the Super Bowl, remember? Of course you remember. As we reminded Bill this morning. Beat the Patriots in the 1996 Super Bowl, Super Bowl 31. Won 2 regular season games there. Grew up, of course, just over the border in Mississippi. But a fumble by not Green. Cedric Hodge falls on him. Saints ball. They're up 7-3. One-time Packer backup Aaron Brooks. The dart to Jerome Pathon. 14-3 Saints. Just over 2 minutes to go in the half. Pass tip caught by Dante Stallworth, and look at him go. You think he can run? Whoop! Into the end zone, 21-3. And what about the block that sprung it, Tom?
Well, you watch this block, and what's unusual is that it comes from the center spot. Fontenot right there comes out, gets the angle on the corner, Antoine Edwards, and knocks him down right there. Stallworth off to the races.
57 seconds left in the first half. The Saints ball up 21-3. But Brooks off back foot, picked off by Darren Sharper. It's an image that Brooks didn't want. Down to the 14-yard line, at least Darren stepped in to make the play. The Favre on this day hooked up with Terry Glenn 9 times. Here's a 14-yarder for a touchdown, so 21-3, now 21-10. How many times have you seen Brett Favre do it? And Favre is tied on this day, Johnny Unitas for 290 career touchdown passes, 5th all-time. 3rd quarter. Favre to Glenn, but Fakir Brown forces a fumble. Keo Craver craves the ball and the end zone. Penalties on the Pack. Hit the touchdown Saints, 28-10. Later third, Favre trying to make it happen to Donald Duke and the driver. 26-yard touchdown. Now, Brett has the great Johnny U. Tied with Warren Moon. More on that later. 28-17, but a fumble snap. Charlie Clemens, the big man. Favre says they were in the neutral zone. I think that's kind of what it's a 28-20 game. Ace, Deuce McAllister. 62 yards. Down to the 5. He had 123 running very hard. Had a 50-plus yard run negated by a penalty where it would have been close to 200. And the New Orleans Saints have beat the Packers 35-20. The Saints, who of all the contending teams last year, Tom, looked the worst in December. I don't mean the Carolinas, but I mean a good team. They were looking awful. A lot of changes, and Jim Haslett's squad is 2-0 with a couple of impressive wins.
Well, a football team that's been retooled in a lot of areas when you think about what they lost up front. Joe Johnson, Leroy Glover on their defensive line, Ricky Williams, their Heisman Trophy running back. I think that when you look at what they've added with Wally Williams, Fontenot, Deuce McAllister, I think was the key here. And I think that Coach Haslett knew that he was going to be an effective runner and give him more out of the passing game than maybe he was going to get from Ricky Williams. But a lot of credit here for what they did. They pressured Brett Favre, and they stopped Ahman Green. He only had 71 yards today.
Well, I told you the NFC South would be terrible.
Yeah.
New Orleans 2-0, Carolina 2-0. And New Orleans won at Tampa, and they beat the Packers. That's a very impressive start. But impressive as Brett Favre now climbs up the ladder towards 300 career touchdown passes. He told you that he passed and tied the great Johnny Unitas, the late great Johnny U, and is now tied with Warren Moon for 4th, just 9 shy of 300, which would tie him for 3rd with John Elway.
Inside the Numbers, brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere NFL fans want to be.
When we return, they're at Pittsburgh at the bottom of the hour in Sunday Night Football. Last week, the Dallas Cowboys, a low point. One of the low points in a very storied history of their franchise. This time, Quincy Carter and the Cowboys losing to Houston play the old Houston team. Now the Tennessee Titans of Steve McNair. McNair had a day on and off the field. Watch this push, and they couldn't stop. Oh, man. And he's had the bad back. He leaves with a minor concussion. but he would stay in play. He, obviously, a tough customer. That just was brutal. Second half, he was back. The Titans led it 10-7. Dexter Coakley, the quick linebacker for the Cowboys, hurt. And so McNair goes to his spot, hitting Derek Mason. They hooked up a lot today. 19 yards. But Coakley back the very next play, and he was back with a vengeance. There he is, and keep an eye on Darren Woodson. He makes the hit on McNair. Coakley makes the pick, and he could go all the way. 52 yards. How about the Cowboys? They lead 14-10.
And you see how much both of these teams wanted this game. McNair was out. He came back. Dexter Coakley here off the tip by Woodson. He comes back running pretty good for a guy with a hip contusion there.
Very good. Quincy Carter. Antonio Bryant. He catches it. 44 yards. Later on the drive, a Joey Galloway sighting. Look at Quincy with the lead in the play action. He looks like a different guy here. Between defenders for a touchdown to Galloway, and the Cowboys win it 21-13. They can't beat the new Houston team, so they beat the old Houston team. And still kind of a thud for the Titans after their big win against Philadelphia. Carter threw for 240. Emmett got 59 yards in the game. The Patriots at the Jets. Their season really headed north when they won at the Meadowlands last year after being down 13-0 at the half. Tom Brady and Troy Brown, and
Band of renown.
14 yards. Tom Brady to Troy Brown, who makes a wonderful play to the 5, to the wow, he's almost in. It's a fumble, so the Jets figure it's raining hard. We got a break. We're in business. Not so. Brady, Baker burst to Brandt, to David Patton. 39 yards, Tom, a little trickery.
Well, watch the reverse here, and watch what it does to the safeties in the deepest part of the field. You see Sam Darnold right there starting to move on the football. And the thing about this play, Patton doesn't continue to the middle of the field. He kind of seams the route right there between hash mark and numbers, gives the quarterback a place to throw the football.
Defensive coordinator Teddy Cottrell not pleased. He'd be less pleased when Cam Cleveland, one of 3 tight ends that the Patriots have who are weapons, catches Brady's pass. They lead 10-0 at the half. And he says, oh, lucky Bucky Jones with the hat-trick from Connecticut. He makes the hit, the sack, the fumble recovery, and the touchdown. This is the longest running play of the day for the Jets. Bad news for them, it's the punter, Matt Turk, 14 yards, outrushed Curtis Martin and everyone else. They get the feel, and New England's playing defense. One bright spot, these moves by Santana Moss. It's a 40-yard gain, 4 minutes left in the third. But if 4 minutes left in the third, it's the first wideout reception of the day. Victor Green was a Jet. He's now a Pat, and he could go all the way. He probably picked Vinny off in practice the last 2 years. 90 yards, 27-0, Patriots. Brady to the second-round pick, Deion Branch from Louisville. Look at this guy go. 49 yards. Man, more weapons than the Patriots had last year, that's for sure.
And watch Branch come out of his break right there on Donnie Abraham. He freezes him to the outside, comes through, and boy, can he run.
He fooled Abraham, Martin, and John on that play. Now 44-7, Chad Morton, the hero last week, Pepper Johnson, Patriots coach, former Jet. Don't tell me he's making, they're that good.
Old linebackers, they want to make plays.
Coaches are making the tackling. New England Patriots, a 1-point underdog. Don't ask why. Went into the Meadowlands, sliced and diced the Jets 44-7. They've won 11 straight dating back to last year. Tom Brady, do you think you finally have some respect?
I don't know, do we? I don't care. It is. And that's,
Does that drive you guys?
there's always a little chip on our shoulder. I think every time we go out, we realize we have to prove it. But, you're only as good as your last performance, And we do the stuff that our coaches teach us. And if we get respect, we want to earn the respect, And that does it by winning world championships. We earned respect last year. And if we didn't, then I guess people are just, like I said, just too ignorant to, just too stupid to realize it.
But
I am not.
listen. The Patriots next week are home against Kansas City. I'm going to make the Chiefs a 6-point favorite.
Did you like that? I mean,
Look, they've won 11 in a row dating to before Thanksgiving, Tom.
Well, they've got a lot of flexibility offensively, defensively. We both talked about the fact that when Bill Belichick brings in all those former Jets, he brings them in because they know his system. And defensively, they are the only defense right now dictating to the opposing offense. And I don't think anybody right now has got it figured out.
I'll tell you what else. Their weapons, as we showed right there, it's night and day from last year.
Right.
The speed they have wide out with the addition of Branch, all the tight ends.
And everybody wondered about Tom Brady.
Oh,
Is he for real?
Please.
I think he's for real.
He wins. He wins. He gets it. He's Dave Entropy. Everything new. New unis, new conference, and a new stadium. Well, look at that, Tom. New stadium in Seattle. Seahawks Stadium right next to the Kingdome. And Trent Dilfer, all he's done is winning his last 15 starts, 4-0 last year as a Seahawk. He makes his first start of the year, and he swings to Darrell Jackson. 10-yard gain down to the 4. They're playing their new NFC West foe, Arizona. Dilfer to Itulamili. And it's a 10-3 Seattle lead. Third quarter. Thomas Jones. We've been waiting for him for a while. But it's 58 yards, a touchdown which ties the game at 10.
Yeah, and you're Thomas Jones, and you turn this corner, and you see David Boston out in front of you. And just look at the size and the speed. If we can get a glimpse of him out front, what a great block he threw to spring him.
With Seattle leading 13-10 after the field goal, this is Marte Jenkins. Marte Ote. 95 yards. The Cardinals have grabbed the lead, 17-13. 3.5 to go. Jake Plummer to Frank Sanders. And Arizona has gone up to Seattle. The Seahawks have started 0-2. And the Cardinals, who haven't played a home game yet, are even though Jake Plummer under 50% of his passes. But they went on the road, spoiling the Seahawks opener. Texans and Chargers. One of these two is going to be 2-0. David Carr looked impressive last week beating Dallas. But Jonathan Wells beat Junior Seau, as maybe 500 ball carriers have done throughout his career, Tommy. Corey Bradford tips it. Seau intercepts this pass from Carr. Junior not looking senior at all.
He wants that end zone.
Yes, he does. Down to the 6. Carr, phone home. Meanwhile, Chargers. Diego
Supercharger.
Curtis Conway, touchdown, 14-0 San Diego. Tom Capers said, we got to block this guy.
Yeah, and Junior Seau, his quickness remains in his game. Look at him get through the line here. They're trying to drive and slide to the right. He's just a little too quick. That's a hit for a loss of yardage. And then Texans down inside their own 10-yard line. And watch Junior again. He times this perfectly. Gets that great start at the line of scrimmage. Comes through. Carr steps up. That looks close to a safety, although they would mark that ball eventually on the 1-yard line.
So he almost had a touchdown and a safety.
That's correct.
Carr, 1 of 9 in the first half. It would be more Charger defense in the fourth. Then Pat Lieber with the rush. Nails Carr to fumble. Rayleigh Johnson. San Diego Supercharger. They lost 9 in a row to end last year. But under Marty Schottenheimer, they're at 2-0. And they beat the Texans 24-3. Tomlinson, 84 yards running. And again, Drew Brees efficient at quarterback. Certainly the Rams, 0-4 in the preseason, 0-1 regular season, couldn't lose to the New York Football Giants. I mean, Kurt Warner was playing Kerry Collins. But wait a minute. Collins had other ideas. Jeremy Shockey, 28-yard touchdown to the rookie. 10-0. Next possession. Kenny Holmes tips the pass for Warner. Jason Sehorn's got it. And after a year of battling the injuries, he's in the end zone. 17-0 Giants, 17-7 at the half. Marshall. 44 yards down to the Giant 8. Here come the Rams. 3rd and goal from the 2. Falk. Touchdown. 17-14. The lead is just a field goal. Under 7 to go. Leonard Little sacks Collins. It looks like a fumble, Tom, but wait a minute, it's not.
Well, you take a look at it here. The referee ruled that it wasn't a fumble, rule that his arm must have been in motion, tuck rule, whatever it was. Giants did not lose possession. And then you look the other side, wide open right here and unguarded. Tiki Barber wanting the football. So had he been seen by Collins, you would have had a touchdown for the Giants.
They get a field goal out of it, Tom, at 20-14. 23-14, here come the Rams. Kurt Warner, Torrey Holt, 35 yards down to the 20. Now it's first and goal at the 8. Falk, he stopped. No, he's not. Oh, man. In the end zone, touchdown, Tom. And now we got ourselves a ball game, 23-21.
And that's why he's the best touchdown maker in the league right now. Great second effort inside the 5-yard line. He can run for speed. He can run for power. He's as elusive as any back that's played the game. Great runner, Marshall Falk.
So now the Giants try to 2nd and 1. Pick up the yard with Ron Dane. They don't. 3rd and 1. Collins short on a sneak. Jim Fossil says, well, I know we're playing the Rams. We're going to go for the field goal. They get it, 26-21, so it's set up. You know what's going to happen. Except it doesn't, because Marshall Falk gets up by bounds. And Michael Strahan, who sacked Warner 4 times last year, recovers for the Giants. 3 and out. St. Louis, one last chance. But Will Peterson, one of those young DBs, they did a good job against the Niners. They did a good job against the Rams. Shot. 26-21. The Giants are the team that gets the win. The Rams, defending NFC champs, are 0-2. Now look, New England made the Super Bowl and won it last year at 0-2. Dallas did it in the early 90s when Emmett held out 0-2.
It can't happen.
But it's not likely. It's not likely, although the Rams have the firepower, but they just look at us. They're 0-6 if you had the preseason.
Well, I think certainly they're a team that's out of sync, and I think you put it exactly right, especially with their passing game. And Kurt Warner doesn't seem to have the receivers exactly where he wants them. They're not running Marshall Falk as much as they would like to. But give the Giants credit. Outstanding game today and great balance between Tiki Barber and Kerry Collins.
Collins, 307 to Warner, 266. Surprise a lot. Brian Griese delivered when it looked like he was going to get yanked last week. The Broncos and Terrell Owens and the Niners. Opening day at Candlestick Park. Jeff Garcia to Owens. It's a pretty play for 8 yards. It's a touchdown, Niners.
Well, it's a combination boom of strength and power. Tyrone Poole right there inside the 5-yard line, but you see that Owens just powers his way right through the defense for a touchdown.
This is Brian Griese to Ed McCaffrey, drilled by the young rookie, Mike Rump.
You know, you look at this play, Rump, we know he's a big hitter. He comes in there, makes a solid hit. McCaffrey eventually got up. He would continue to play.
7-3 Niners to the half, but here is Mike Anderson playing fullback in the way they line it up. 14 yards down to the 14, and Griese, play action, flip to Anderson. I mean, he's not really a true fullback. He's beefed up. They got a couple of ways to go out of the backfield. First, touchdown the Niners defense is allowed at home since November 11th last year. So down, it's Owens who gets crushed by Kenoy Kennedy, who we saw lay the lumber last week against the Rams. 17-7 now, Denver. Jeff Garcia, the tie streets. Delta O'Neal picks it off. It's marked at the 1. So the Broncos turn that into a long drive. Griese to Ashley Lilley, the rookie from Hawaii. Aloha. And then Alandis Garrett. 26 yards down to the 22. Griese to Scotty Montgomery. Touchdown. What an impressive march for the Broncos. All right, Tom, you get to say the score.
24-14, Broncos over the dreaded Niners. Boom.
All right. Very impressive. The Broncos beat the Niners and the Rams in the opening week of the season. They are 2-0. When we return, game balls and an amazing finish. The longest game of the day, the most exciting game of the day. Vikings at home against Buffalo, tied at 13, third quarter. Bills special teams. Not again. Dwayne Bates. No! No! It's 61 yards, so they finally catch him. They knock him down at the 3. Danny Smith, the special teams coach of the Bills. They gave up 2 kickoffs last week for touchdowns. He's living a nightmare. Culpepper to Randy Moss. Now it is a touchdown. Wow. 20-13. However, sometimes the worm turns on the ensuing kickoff. Bills special teams. Charlie Rogers. It's Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. He could go all the way. 90 yards. It's 2020. Great special teams coaching. Now, the Bills up 23-20 late third. Culpepper. Bates. Touchdown. They missed the extra point. Keep that in mind. Doug Bryan missed it. It's 26-23 Minnesota. Aaron Schobel hits Culpepper. Big guy. Pat Williams. Rubbling. Bubbling. Stumbling. But Ron Edwards. Touchdown. Bills lead 30-26 to the chagrin of Mike Miami Tights. Culpepper leads him down. Derek Alexander. 32-30. But for the second time, Viking special teams. Doug Life of Bryan missed the extra point. So it's just a 2-point lead. Now Buffalo driving. To the second round pick goes Drew Bledsoe. Josh Reed. First down. Bledsoe. Fearless Price. To the 1. Travis Henry. Oh, it's a fumble. It's there forever. Bledsoe dives on the ball. Drew. Touchdown. Fearless Price. They don't get the 2, but they lead 36-32. Now here come the Vikings. Under 2 minutes to go. 3rd and 2. Culpepper to Moss. He bobbles. Holds on. First down Minnesota. 2 plays later. Culpepper. One-handed catch to Moss. Still to the 3. 2nd and goal. Mo Williams. Touchdown. Actually make the kick. 39-36. 26 seconds to go. So what can Drew Bledsoe do? Remember, he tied it last week with a pass at the end. Josh Reed holds on. Mike Holland, 54-yard attempt to try to tie it. It's up. It's doing good. It's good off the crossbar. 54 yards. Doink. It's still good. We're tied at 39. Overtime. Holland from 45 to win. No good. The Vikes still alive. Bills' next possession is their defense holds. Bledsoe, Fearless Price, gone! Drew Bledsoe threw for 463 yards, including that one, to win it. 48 yards to Fearless Price. This team has scored 76 points in 2 overtime games in 2 weeks. Man, the Bills win 45-39. Game ball, Tommy, your turn.
Boom, my game ball goes to Kerry Collins. What a day he had in beating the Rams. 22 of 26, 307, a touchdown, and an INT. Got very comfortable.
All right, look, the Patriots defense scored 2 touchdowns. They don't allow a reception to the wide receiver to the late 3rd quarter. They allow 32 yards rushing. The New England Patriots are 2-0. Well, we did have some.
For those celebrating Yom Kippur, have an easy day. For all of us here at NFL Primetime, for Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching.
Actually, for the first time since the snow playoff game against Oakland, they were actually favored. Hello! They're playing today. Paul Revere, Nathan Hale, John Adams, Samuel Adams, with a brew, obviously. Do not fire until you see the whites in their eyes. Well, Kansas City, Trent Green did some firing, and Eddie Kennison touchdown. Wait a minute now. Kansas City's coming into Gillette Stadium and leads the champs 10-0, and here's part of the reason, Tom.
Yeah, and Priest Holmes, what a great runner he is around the corner here. Great combination of speed and power, and he runs with some attitude. There you see him not going out of bounds.
2 plays later, it's Trent Green to Priest Holmes, 17-9. Kansas City in the early 3rd, an upset brewing in Foxborough until Troy Brown
Brand the renown
gets involved.
Yeah, you start watching these plays. Great play between Brady and Troy Brown. Most of these passes just outside the pro hash mark. Here again, down the hash mark, and once you set that up, then you get Troy Brown going outside here from the slot position. And again, look at him get the yardage. Tough little receiver, great receiver for the New England Patriots.
Well, at this point, he's got 6 catches, so on his way to a pretty decent day. It would be a record-breaking day. Brady hangs in, and he hits Troy Brown for a touchdown. They go for 2, make it 17 all in the 3rd. Last minute, 3rd quarter, Brady. Stanton gets popped, but oh, does this pay off to Brown? He could go a lot of the way. play. 38 yards, and he keeps finding Brown, setting up a touchdown, 24-17. Even 16 for 176, a new Patriots record. What a day for Troy Brown. But Brady says, you know what, David Patton? What? Turns on a dime at the 22, and this speedster's gone. So New England now early fourth, now where they should be, up by 14, 31-17. But Kansas City would have none of it. Trent Green, Eddie Kennison, touchdown, 31-24. What's going on here in this fourth quarter? A little over 6 to go. Patriots just in the Chiefs' territory. Antoine Smith. So you saw the guys 2 it by air? Well, it's 1 it by land. Antoine Smith, 42 yards, and the Patriots regain a 2-touchdown lead, 38-24. Under 5 to go. Kansas City driving. Priest home. Man, is that a power run to the pylon? 38-31. Minute and a half to go. Chiefs with the ball again. Now, Tony Gonzalez has been shut out for the first 58 minutes of this game. But he makes a catch in traffic there. And then under a minute to go. 3rd and 5. Green needs to keep it going. And he finds Dante Hall down to the 9, out of bounds. Although they rule the forward progress was still in, so tick, tick, tick. Green, Eddie Kennison to the 1. Timeout, Kansas City with 3 seconds to go. Only 1 shot. And when you get the league leading rusher, look at the spin and the power by Priest home. Touchdown. We're going to overtime to Dick Vermeil. The flip goes to the Patriots. They win the toss. And they would never give up the ball. Brady, Pat, makes a great move and picks up 22 yards out of the 22. There's no snow. It's a perfect day with the game on the line. You tell me if Adam Vinatieri's going to make it. Tom, that was good even through like the 2
Arena football goalposts.
Good. He's perfect this year. Dick Vermeil was valiant in a 42-point fourth quarter. Each team with 3 touchdowns. But the P-men win it by the count of 41-38. We told you about the Patriots record for Troy Brown, 16 for 176. How about Priest Holmes, 30 carries for 180. And another note, as New England now has won 12 in a row, Tom Brady this year, 410 today, has already thrown for 973 yards.
Yeah, and he's getting some great balance from the running game as well.
Well, speaking of balance, the New York football Jets figure they beat Miami 8 straight times. Vinny Testaverde figuring, okay, we've got this going, but balance, that would be the Miami Dolphins. Sean Wooden picks off Vinny early, and it's an apparent touchdown, but it's ruled Tom down by contact at the 26.
Yeah, and first play after the turnover, you see Noah Turner there, the offensive coordinator. They're going to set the tone with Ricky Williams right up the middle of the football field. He explodes for 16 yards and immediately puts that Jet defense back on its heels. Next play, Jay Fiedler, Randy McMichael, the rookie out of Georgia. There for a 10-yard touchdown. Boy, do they have weapons everywhere you look.
That's the young tight end. It's 10-0. Tom and now Fiedler to a Rondé Gatson. You want to watch this. Oh, man. He's done in the infield better than any Marlins played all year, that's for sure. Look at this grab. Well, Rondé Gatson. It deserves several looks. Every one of their skill players, my goodness, just excelled today. Here's Zach.
And get a little defense. Zach Thomas there under the arrow, and look at him do what he does best. Run into that football, beating the running back to the perimeter. What a great day they had. Curtis Martin held a 43 yards rushing today.
My favorite Martin, only 43, then Fiedler to McMichaels. And this at 16-3 on 3rd and 6. McMichael keeps the drive going. And boy, would it pay off. It still was a game on the scoreboard, even though the Dolphins had their way with the Jets. So after that first down, now here's the next play. Ricky Williams, he's gone. Game's gone. 53 yards. 24 of 151 for Ricky on the day. Dave wants that. And the Dolphins slice and dice the Jets, say goodbye to that 8-game losing streak to the Jets. Say hello to 17 straight home wins in the month of September. That's over 9 years. And say hello to the first 100-yard rushing performance in 3 straight games ever by a Dolphin back. No Zonka, no Morris, no kick, but Ricky Williams does it. And oh, by the way, the defense gave up just 3, right, Zach Thomas?
It was nice, man. It's about time, get all those Jets fans off our back. Get them off our back, get the media off our back. I was hoping one of those fans would come out here and jump on Wanstead like the Kansas City game. I would have been all over them, too.
Primetime, the Colts at the Texans, and that means dime, 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 dime. Tom Capers, their undefeated lifetime at Reliance Stadium. All right, so they're 1-0. But Peyton Manning to Kadri Ismail. Hats off to Peyton, 7-0 Colts, and wide open, Tom.
Yeah, Eric Brown's the safety right there. He's got half the football field to deal with. He's going to be eyeing the tight end as he comes down inside the numbers. Marcus Coleman outside against Kadri Ismail. Gets no help. Burned for a touchdown.
Well, that's the way this game went. Here's Manning complete to former Patriot Jermaine Wiggins from
East Boston.
And it's recovered by Marcus
Coleman.
And it's the Texans' ball. Then, 2 plays later, David Carr to Ron Rutledge. And what happens here? Idris Bashir falls interception, and it's the Colts' ball. With the score 13-3 Indianapolis fourth quarter. Manning to Ishmael, and the missile scuds it. It's a bumper. Gary Walker has it for Houston. So the Texans driving in Colt territory, Tom, and then what?
Well, watch Chad Bradley here. Opposite the football, you eye the football, stay as deep as the ball, see the reverses when they come around, drops that one for an 11-yard loss.
2nd and 21. You really want to run off tackle. Jonathan Wells, a 1-yard loss. The Texans punt. And then the next Colt possession, Manning from the stately Wayne Manor with Alfred the Butler. Reggie Wayne. Oh, and even that's deflected. Reggie Wayne, a touchdown, 20-3 Colts. And it's off the hands of Marcus Coleman. What happened, Tom?
Well, right there, Marcus Coleman gets the tip on the ball. But great awareness by Reggie Wayne to know where he was, take that football, take it back inside, get to the end zone.
Well, that's another one of those long line of divisional rivalry games of the AFC South. Indianapolis and Houston have had a long history of playing these grudge matches. Well, I'm kidding, of course. And the Colts go to 2-1, and they beat the Texans 23-3 Peyton, 21 of 28 for 272. Browns, Titans. Now, these teams now not in the same division, but they know each other, and they know that Tim Couch is going to get his first start of the year. Kelly Holcomb filled in mightily for him. But Couch says, I'm back, and Andre Davis, yeah, he's back in the back of the end zone. Couch 5 for 5 on the drive, 7-0 Cleveland, and Holcomb and Couch talk about it. 7-7 second quarter. Fumble Willie Green, but a late hit penalty keeps it alive. And Steve McNair, he also was playing hurt to John Ryman Simon, or Simple Simon, it's 14-7. Now, what's Simon doing here, Tom?
Well, Simon's going to come out of the back. You can see the linebacker look the wrong way. That's just a basic missed assignment. He goes down the scene for a score.
3 minutes left in the half. Couch picked up by Andre Dyson, and slices and Dyson's his way into the end zone. It's 21-7 Tennessee. Titans punting third quarter. Dennis Northcutt, it became his half and OT, didn't it? Look at Northcutt making a north cut and a south cut and an east cut and a west cut, and he's gone. 76 yards. Butch did keep the visor on Butch. Keep it on. And it's 21-14. Then Northcutt receiving. Oh no! He giveth, he taketh away. Mike Reed recovers the Northcutt fumble. To the Titans in business. Steve McNair. Kevin Dyson, touchdown. He's Dyson with a touchdown. 28-14 Tennessee. In the driver's seat, it's 5 minutes to go. But can Tim Couch bring him back? A couple of clutch plays here. This is Kevin Johnson. Where's the coverage, Tom? 21 yards. 3rd and 9. Couch to Quincy Morgan.
Make a tackle.
Please. The tackling with Tennessee atrocious. First down. 2:41 to go. Browns down at the 12. Couch. Andre Davis. Touchdown. Nice throw with 28-21. No timeouts left. Cleveland. Onside kick. And not only did they get it, they picked up 30 yards. And who is it? Dennis Northcutt. What a play. They appealed it, or they reviewed it, but it was inbounds.
Well, Browns line up as if they're going to kick the onside kick to the right where they have all their players. They bring it back to the left where they have only 2 players. Northcutt, great kick, and a great job of getting down and getting your football staying in bounds.
The people in Buffalo saying the Music City Miracle going to come back to haunt you. 3rd and 11. Counts Andre Davis. It's a first down. 18 seconds to go. Remember, they need to touch. Counts to Dennis Northcutt. Where is Mike Eccles? What's going on with that tackling?
Tackle somebody.
It's a touchdown. We're tied at 28. We go to overtime. Browns win the toss. Can Couch pull it off? Couch to Davis. Yeah, they're both in. 31-yard game beating Eccles. Setting up 33-yard field goal. Phil Dawson. Right down the pipe. So Tennessee, which came from 14 down to win their home opener, now blows a 14-point lead with 5 minutes to go. Now you can take the helmets off. It's no problem. And the Browns beat Tennessee, 31-28 counts, throwing 50 passes, completing 36 of them for 326. An impressive performance for Couch, who proved everyone, hey, this really is my job.
Well, and I think we thought he'd feel a little pressure behind the way Kelly Holcomb has played, so a great day for him. I think a feel-good moment for this football team, and only a helmet toss away from being undefeated.
The 2-0 Carolina Panthers against Governor Ventura, I guess, and the Minnesota Vikings, who are 0-2. Dante Culpepper looking for Randy Moss. And it's Mike Minter. After dinner, Minter. It's very early to put that on the pillow, but he makes the pick. Next possession. Here's Culpepper looking for Moss again. Over his head, Deion Grant. Was it really over his head, Tom?
But we'll take another look at it, and certainly it's a pass that looks like it was a little bit overthrown, but you have to see it from Dante Culpepper's perspective. He thinks it's a ball, obviously, that Randy Moss should have gone for.
So the Vikings leading 7-0 in the third. Culpepper. Now, this time Moss helps him out with a big block on Mark Fields, who feels like he's on Strawberry Fields as you look at it again. And boom. And so Minnesota's still in business. Culpepper looking for Moss later in the third. Remember, they still lead this thing 7-0 late third. And, off one hand of Moss into the hands of Deion Grant.
And again, you have to see it from Dante Culpepper's perspective. You go up with two hands, you try to catch the football, you prevent the interception, and you can see right there the reaction of the quarterback.
Well, the coach knows. He's just stepped back. Moss doesn't even give him an ear. Not a pretty scene on the Viking sideline. Lamar Smith made the scene worse when he breaks a 7-7 tie and gives the Panthers a 14-7 lead. Lamar Smith made him even worse when he breaks up in a 14-7 game and makes it 21-7. 30 carries, $154 for John Fox and Lamar Smith. Fox, timeout. With 8 seconds to go, tries for a field goal, up 21-14. John Hilbert misses the kick. They would have turned it over on downs anyway, so Minnesota gets one last chance because they're still down by 7. But you got to throw this, 80 yards? Almost impossible. What do you do?
Knock it down!
Or catch.
Or intercepted.
Deion Grant makes the play. The Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers are 3-0 as they beat the Vikings 21-14. The Vikings themselves are 0-3 and not looking very, not only not impressive excitement back, and this guy has had so much excitement. Emmitt Smith, not the rushing record online today, but Emmitt has a chance to break another record. More on that in a moment. Reggie Swinton, and of all things, the Philadelphia Eagles, this is David Green Acres is not the place to be. The chores. Reggie Swinton, it's a touchdown. The Eagles have given up 2 returns. Their special teams usually as good as there is in football. So the Eagles find themselves down 10-3. I don't think they can come back, Tom. All right, I'm kidding. McNabb to James Thrash in a ball that was very Jeff Blake-ish. Good because it went out of the screen. And then it's Emmitt Smith. Emmitt just needs a handful of carries to become the most carrying back in the history of the NFL. Here he runs for 7 yards, and here's more Emmitt.
Yeah, Emmitt Smith again, a nice little cut out there outside to pick up 4. You know, it's still tough to bring him down, and this is the one that ties the record for most carries by a running back in the history of the NFL, 3,838.
And he passes to Gray Walter, and look, it's not going to be on a great rush, but now he has more carries than anyone else. He's now rushed 3,844 times. And you add them all, that ball goes away. You add up receptions, playoff rushes, how many touches? 4,714. My goodness. Meanwhile, Donovan McNabb is in business. To Antonio Freeman, the one-time Packer, now excelling early with Philly. 59 yards, 27-10 Philly. Late in the third, McNabb to Maxwell Award winner Brian Westbrook, the rookie. Fires to Todd Pinkston. Touchdown. And the Eagles, boy, after an opening loss, here's Philly clobbering Washington and clobbering Dallas in their division. A pretty good 7-day span for Andy Reid and the Eagles, winning 44-13. Brad Jaworski with Antonio Freeman.
You play with a great quarterback in Green Bay in Brett Favre. He can make plays in the pocket and outside of the pocket. Donovan's the same kind of guy. Can you compare both of them?
You can't compare 7 years with 3 weeks. But when I watch Donovan in practice and I watch how he throws the ball, he has that same competitiveness that Brett Favre has. He wants to win. He can improvise and make things happen with his feet. And, hey, that's the future of the Philadelphia Eagles.
All right,
Present and future.
All right, Antonio, thank you very much.
All right, Jaws.
Back to you, Boomer.
All right, Jaws, Antonio, thank you. Lots of smiles there. And look, because Donovan McNabb can make lots of smiles for you.
Well, anytime you start talking about the Eagles offense, you're going to talk about Donovan McNabb. What a better guy to put in focus, and he's our extra point tonight. When you look at what he's done and how he's matured over the course of his 4-year period under Andy Reid, you see his ability to withstand pressure. That pocket collapses, he gets out, he keeps his head up so he understands that he can either hit somebody downfield or get the yardage that you can get. Here again, out in front of a play, trying to throw a block, helping his teammates, that sells you to your teammates as a leader. This is a ball that maybe he would have thrown downfield, tried to make a play out of at some point earlier in his career. Now he knows, throw that ball out of bounds, line up for another play, make it happen the next drive, the next series. Do what you have to do to make this team win. And I think he's as good a quarterback as there is in this league right now.
And I think what Antonio could compare is the growth. You know,
that's correct.
There every year to watch Brett grow, and now look at Donovan grow. 287 passing. San Diego and Arizona on the field, 130 degrees. But it's a dry heat in Arizona. The Cardinals ball, Jake Plummer. Okay, it's Martae Jenkins. Touchdown, 65 yards. It's 7-0 Arizona in their home opener. Now, Jake Plummer picked off by Marcellus Wiley from
Columbia.
Fumbling, but not stumbling. What? Then makes a good what? Look at the big fella. All the way down to the 6-yard line.
You know, we talked about how comfortable a defense can get. Marcellus Wiley dropping off into coverage right there. And you can see he has some sort of skill position in his background, the way he carried that football.
Played skill positions in high school and early on at Columbia. That set up a Tomlinson run. Thomas Jones at the and Ryan McNeil recovers for San Diego. Second quarter, Drew Brees, little flip to Steven Alexander, gets the block, sheds a tackle, and he picks up 19 yards. Second and goal, a couple plays later, and their LT, LaDainian Tomlinson, 14-7 San Diego. Early fourth, same score, Scott player. Carlos Polk with the block, and it's a safety. Special teams for the Chargers. Here it is again, right up the middle. And so it's 16-7. Jake Plummer now knows he needs a couple of scores. And Donnie Edwards, one of those fast linebackers, picked up by John Butler, picked up by Marty Schottenheimer. Touchdown, 23-7. Big hole for Thomas Jones. He had a huge game last week at Seattle. He's down to the 9. After 3 incompletions, Plummer down by 8 to Marcel Ship. But the Ship did not come in for Arizona. And San Diego Superchargers. They're 3-0. They've beaten Cincy, Houston, and Arizona. Marty Schottenheimer's teams always beat the teams they should, Tom.
Yeah, and we realize that Marty in his last 14 games is 11-3 with this team and last year with the Washington Redskins.
And Drew Brees, his numbers don't light you up except for one number, 3-0. Saints and Bears. Those teams both 2-0. Jim Miller, Bears are 2-0 for the first time since Mike Ditka was their head coach in '91. Aaron Brooks leading the Saints tonight. Full sun this day, and the sun would come into focus immediately for Leon Johnson in a negative way. You already tell he's having trouble. Saints at 20. On to the fourth quarter. The Saints, when Jim Haslett has the lead. Oh, Orleans Saints go into Chicago. Trail 20-0, go into Champaign and beat the Bears 29-23. This team is 3-0. And Jim Haslett, with a job that Jim Haslett has done. First of all, let's sum up here, Tommy, what the Saints have done. They've won at Tampa Bay, okay? They've won against Green Bay, and they've won